Hello, welcome back to Daddy and the Don. It's been a while since we've done a show previewing the weekend football. I'm here today with some of the usual guests and a special appearance from Cheggers. Anyway, we'll get to him in a minute. First off, welcome back, Luke. How are you, mate?
All good, looking forward to it.
Mate.
From Sports Capital, it's Monday. How, mate? You all right?
Yeah, I'm all right, even though I've been called Cheggers.
Down underneath me, he's back. He's been waiting for this. He's been waiting for a live. It's Jay. You all right, Jay?
How you doing, mate? You all right?
Good to see you. And obviously, wearing the Celtics top, it's Leeds' finest. Up north, it's Jordan.
Right, mate. Yeah, ready to defend my fellow. The reason I'm dressed like this, mate, I'm ready to step in and defend America's own.
Okay. Your boyfriend. We were expecting Carl, but unfortunately he's not here. I don't think he'll be on. So I'm going to share a link if anyone wants to join shortly. But we're going to get crack on. So basically, we're not just going to talk about the upcoming games. We will get to the main games a bit later in the stream. But I've got a few topics that I'm going to run through the panel regarding the title race. And at the end of the show, we'll go through who we think will get relegated. But we will start with obviously who's top of the league right now. It's the team that are in form. It's not because I'm an Arsenal fan and bumless, but I was going to ask Carl this, but he's not here. But it's not but will Arsenal win the league now? I'm going to start with you, Jay, because I know you've been quite vocal about Arsenal this year. Will we win the league? Simple as.
Well, well, I don't know, mate. Will's a big question. Will's a big word, isn't it? Can you win the league? Yeah, and obviously you're fairly odds on. I think you will, but it's still only halfway in it. There's still a lot more games to go, a lot more wins and losers in there. Do you know what I mean? Arsenal are bound to slip up at some point. It just depends how badly.
But what's impressed you about Arsenal this year? Did they look a different outfit, or was it a case of just running a bit of form, or do they reckon they can, hold on to it? I've been saying that the boys up top are obviously Martinelli, Saka, and Odegaard. They're not far from that standard to be consistent. Do you agree?
Yeah, definitely. Well, they're both young lads, haven't they? You haven't had as many injuries as everyone else either. I think Arteta has got a young squad, so do you know what I mean? They're bound to get better, and they've just got better from last year. So, natural, isn't it?
Luke, I know this pains you. I know you lot couldn't do us a fucking favour yesterday. Take your bias hat off. Take the Tottenham hat off. Obviously, I know the question everyone say they can, but can you see Arsenal actually winning?
It's a question that's difficult to answer. I remember when Leicester were flying. And I never thought that they would win the league. I thought that someone was going to catch them up, and they just seem to keep going and going and going. And Arsenal seem to be on a similar trend. I'm not comparing the two. Obviously, Leicester were battling relegation the season before. Arsenal finished 8th 2 seasons in a row, so they were a bit more stable. But there seems and there feels like a similarity to me, at least in how the league's playing out in terms of other teams. Other teams don't seem to be turning up. Chelsea, Liverpool, they're starting to sink. And it seemed to be a similar trend when Leicester won the league. So I think Arsenal have every possibility to win it. And if they carry on in their form, the way they're playing, then there's not really anything to stop them. Obviously, you've still got to play City. You've got United coming up. Those are big games. I think you had a generous start to the season somewhat, but obviously you can only win the games you can win. But once you face those big tests, that's if you pass those with flying colours, then you're odds on.
I will get to you in a minute, Mundy, because I know you're going to be biased. Jordan, I know you want Arsenal to win it. I'm pretty certain you do. Will we win it?
To be fair, man, I'm not really bothered as long as that scummy team from Salford don't win. Of course, the actual team from Manchester City, they just they're their own worst enemy at the moment. And yeah, don't take nothing away from Arsenal whatsoever because they deserve it the way they've played all season. And consistency is going to win you the titles, right? So Yeah, I think they're good value at the moment. And I do think at this moment in time they will win the league. It's going to take something. Sorry, Luke. It's going to take something Spurs-like for them not to win the league from this position. Even an
Arsenal like last season.
We will get to Spursy later.
But even like a bit of an Arsenal crumble, I don't think it's going to be enough. They've got too much breathing room with a really nice run of games coming up. It's all going one way at the minute.
Monday, I know the answer to this. Will Arsenal win the league?
No, they won't.
And why not? Why not?
Because you've still got to play us. If you beat us, you still got to play City twice. If you can beat City twice and beat us, then yeah, I might change my mind. But no.
So you're based on what? You're
City, you've been there.
City,
let me finish. You know what I mean? You said don't interrupt people, and you interrupt me. Fucking hell. Yeah, City have been there and done it. The only player that hasn't won the Premier League is Haaland. Out of that lot, they've been there and done it. They know what it's like. There's not one Arsenal player won the Premier League in that team at the moment. That's what I'm basing it on. The fact that they've won the league before, they know how to do it. And it just might be just pressure. I just don't think if they win it, fair play to them. But then I did say that when Leicester were up there and they won it. So as Luke said, it could be like when Leicester won it. But no, I don't think they do.
I really get pissed off that comparison. Comparing Leicester to Arsenal is a complete sophisticated thing to do. Leicester were literally 5,000 to 1, nearly relegated the year before. Arsenal were fifth favourites, a top club, consistent. They've got 3 or 4 players who are now on the cusp of world class. So for me, that's a complete different comparison. Because I asked Jay this question.
But I'm comparing the league. I'm comparing the way the league
He's
operates.
not comparing teams, is he?
It's not Leicester. It's not Leicester. Leicester are no different to Arsenal. Leicester overachieved. They had 4 good players, but the rest of that squad were just bang average. Mark Albrighton is not a good player, but he was starring for that team. He had a one-off year. Is Martinelli having a one-off year? Is Saka having a one-off year? No, these boys are going to continue to get better. So the Leicester comparison for me, I know what you're trying to say, Luke, and I know what you're trying to get at, but it's not a comparison. It's not for me.
Fucking hell, who's out of these cage?
That was a big fight, wasn't it?
All right, I tell you what, right? All right, let's just imagine Brentford won the league last year in their first season. They won the league last year, okay? All right, Brentford won the league last year. First year, they just beat the odds outsiders in the first year. Would we be doing a Brentford this year? No, so the comparison's wrong. I win. I will ask who will win later on. So we are going to move to, Man City. So me and Phil have been talking a lot recently. He's not a fan of Pep at the moment. Has he lost the plot? And are City still favourites to win the league? I'll go with you, Jordan. Are City still favourites to win the league? Is it still in their hands? And what is going on with Pep at the moment?
No, it's not in their hands. You can't give another team an 8-point lead and then say, "Oh well, we've still got control of this title race." They're relying on failures now from Arsenal. Even if they win every single game for the rest of the season, they're relying on at least 3 failures from Arsenal. So by that virtue, they're not favourites. They don't make them favourites. They don't seem to have figured it out. They've got for all this talk everyone's been saying recently, the last few games. Oh, has signing Haaland actually hurt the team? No, it hasn't, because he's doing his job. He's scoring the goals. It's not like he's holding City back. It just seems like the rest of the team, they're not flowing. The thing for me that I think's really fucked them this season, there's been, I know Pep likes to rotate the squad, but it feels like at times he's over-rotated the players.
Yeah.
He's moved players out that have been in really good form for seemingly no reason. I mean, you look at how well Mahrez played last night. It was unbelievable. Give it 2 games, he'll be on the bench. And it's like, wow, you don't need to do that. You need to play your form players. That's what they did last season when they came back against Liverpool, and they both went hammer and tong right to the end. But I just don't think there's any. It doesn't seem like they're going to do it this season unless they seem to get that fluidity in the team. One player I do think has been their joint best signing alongside Hall. I think Akanji's been really good at the back. He's not made really any mistakes. I think the weak link has been Ake for the most part. And Edison's had his moments as well. So it does seem like there are issues in the team with individual players. And you've got to ask yourself, if Ake keeps making these mistakes, why isn't he getting dropped? Why is Laporte and Diaz still missing games when Ake's starting? It doesn't seem to make too much sense to me. So I think Pep's just doing it. It's egotistical at times. He's doing it because he wants to prove that he got it right and everyone else was wrong. And sometimes it doesn't work. It's failed in the past when he's done this. It's arrogance. He might fail again this season.
Luke, obviously last night you lot had an opportunity. Obviously they got back into the game. But the same sort of question, really. Has Pep sort of lost his mojo? Is he lost what he's doing well? And do you still think it's in City's hands?
I think Jordan touched on it there with the rotation, and that's a problem that you face when you have a squad the size of City. The comment on Ake was absolutely phenomenal last night. He was their player of the match, really. He was phenomenal. But the rotation thing, when you've got a squad of that size with the quality, when you've got 22 or more first team players, that's a very difficult situation to manage, and you have to be very tactful in the way that you do it. And the fact of rotating players just for the sake of trying to appease them isn't, it's not the best situation. You have to pick the best players that are suitable for that game. If you're just choosing players because someone's getting the ump that they're not getting picked, that's not the way to approach things. So, I do think that plays a factor in it. Although I would think that Pep would be able to handle that a little bit better. I don't know. There's just something that's just not clicking when they're not going well. It looks like any team really can get through to them.
Munzie, again, I probably know the answer to this. Is it still in City's hands? Are they still the favourites to win it?
I think they're the favourites to win it. I don't think it's in their hands, but I think they're the favourites to win it. I just don't know. I just think they've had a little bit of a sticky patch. And as I said before, they've got players that have won it. And then Phil said how many United players have won the league, Munzie? 2. Maguire and De Gea. So I've answered that question for you. I just think they've got, just experience. Alex Ferguson used to always say that if, coming in and running, when we played against Newcastle never won the league, and we just got through that, and we was behind them. We was 12 points behind them at Christmas, like this sort of time. So yeah, but yeah, I think they're the favourites. I don't think it's in their hands. Still think it's in Arsenal's hands, but because Arsenal got at least lose 2 games, you know what I mean? So even if City beat you twice, you're still going to be 3 points clear, even if they win all the games. Do you know what I mean? So, but yeah, I think they're the favourites, but it's not in their hands.
Jay, what's your view on it? Do you still think City can pull a run together, or do you think at the moment they're just looking to shell their team?
No, they can always put a run together. Their City, like the size of their squad is ridiculous, and the quality in that squad as well. But I think for obvious reasons, when you win the league, then you get deserved to put on a pedestal. But like we do suck them off a little bit too much to be this like impenetrable force, and I think defensively they're a bit shit. Not like terrible, but you can get at them, and obviously Haaland's banging the goals in, but that don't always mean everything. You have to be solid at the back as well. So potentially it's egos and arrogance that can get to teams. So you never know. Like if you look at Liverpool, basically it's the same team as last year without Mane. So how are they doing so shit compared to how they were last year? It's a game of fine margins, isn't it? And sometimes it can go really against you. Look at West Ham. I'm not comparing them. They were, do you know what I mean, European football, and now they're literally staring relegation in the face and can't get a point to save their life. So it can go like that, but I don't know if City are the favourites. Just if you look at the performance throughout the season, I think Arsenal have just performed more consistently. It's just, will they have a blip of a few games, and it's how many games is that blip, and can City make ground up? Munzie said they've got to beat City still. Well, I think it's a little bit more in their hands of like they can get draws against City, and the point gap stay the same. Do you know what I mean? So there's not as much pressure on them to get the win, whereas that might make City go for it, and then Arsenal can catch them a bit because you do have the quality to finish teams off.
Good. We'll just move on. I know Newcastle is still there, but I'm just going to mention one more team in the so-called title race. I'll ask you, Munzi, first. I know the answer to this. Are Man United in the title race, and are they actually back? Munzi, come on, are they back, or is this a little bit of fortunate run?
They're not back to what they were, no, but they're better, much better than last season. Do you know what I mean? I'll turn the TV off at half time. That's how bad we're. It's like watching Leeds every week. Do you know what I mean? That bad.
The difference is I can't see the TV.
Anyway, what about this interrupting? Huh? Can I get to what we interrupt? You fucking interrupt me.
And then I'm going to sit here and not say anything.
Wait your turn, man. Fucking hell. But yeah, nah, we're not in the title race. We never was. I was one of them that said we was never in the title race. Everyone's going, yeah, we're in the title race. All these people on blooming all the Man United channels, yeah, we're in the title race. Yeah, I laugh. Never in the title race. No way. We've got a striker up front that can never, play 2 games on the trot. No way we're in the title race. Maybe next year we might be in the title race, but no, not this year. If someone would have said to me at the start of the season, you're in all club competitions and you could end up 3rd and maybe win a cup, I'd bit your hand off. Bit your hand off.
I just another question, obviously, on United this year. What's impressed you the most about the team in general and Ten Hag?
Just playing as a team. He went straight in there, got it. Ronaldo's gone. Rashford, he was late. He got dropped. He ain't afraid to do stuff that the others did. You know what I mean? Like last year, Ollie didn't do anything. He was just playing the same team. He's dropped Maguire out. He can get rid of them. He gets his own players in. All right, we've brought that Weghorst. I don't really rate him, but I just trust in what Ten Hag does. And it's just, it's vitalised so many players. You never said Luke Shaw could have played centre back. You know what I mean? He's come in there and played against one of the top teams in England and, eased through it. But yeah, no, he's just got him to playing as a team. That's what we wanted, playing as a team. And then all of a sudden Rashford's firing the goals in and stuff like that. So yeah, it's like watching the proper United, not like that dodgy Leeds around the road.
Jordan, you can go now, mate. I know you're chomping at the bit. Are they in the title race and are they back?
Are they fuck? To both questions, it's just when you hear about people on drugs, right, and they're chasing that dragon, and you're never going to chase the dragon because the old times are gone. You're never going to get that first side back. It's the same thing with Manchester United. They're finished. At being what they used to be, they will never get back to that level of dominance ever again, because football is far more competitive these days. They're not the only ones with rich owners like they were for such a long time. And as for Munzi turning the TV off, like I was trying to say, I don't usually have the option to turn the TV off because I'm usually at the game itself.
Fucking heard that one before. Fucking hell.
Now, in terms of this new kind of found optimism, I don't know where it's come from, to be honest.
Shit team apart from City.
The team they've got now is not really that much better than it was last season. We've got most of the same players. The system, yes, it's better, but let's not forget that they've still got issues to address. They've got Sancho at left wing, who's been an absolute flop from start to finish. When they signed him, he's had no moment. Anthony's looked like a solid gold flop as well this season, and it's just this constant signing of bad players. They've got more money than sense, and it's a matter of time before the Norwich scarves come back out and they're walking out because they're mad at the owners, because the owners have only spent 200 million this summer, and then they want more toys. They're spoilt kids, and I hope they miss out on Europe. I hope this all goes tits up and they finish 5th or 6th or whatever.
I've always liked you, Jordan.
When a girl gets rid of you, and then you're really jealous because she's got a new boyfriend. Is that what you're like with United, Jordan? Because it just sounds like jealousy to me.
Sounds like jealousy that you've won fuck all for about 8 years.
Oh, sorry, Sancho. Fucking interrupted. Sancho's not done anything this year, no.
No.
So he didn't score against Liverpool, no.
not something to brag about.
I tell you what, mate. How much is he signing for? 100 million? Oh, well worth it.
What about this year? I mean, he was fucking one of the best players, England players halfway through, and then it just teared off.
So he's gone off. Yeah.
Jealousy.
So he's gone off the boil and he's playing shit. You've just admitted it.
Anyway, let's move on, lads. Luke, I'll ask you the same question. Do you think this is just a bit of luck of form? Because I'm not slagging United off. I still don't think they're the complete article. Or are they on now track to be the side they were years back?
Well, the answer to the second question is no. I don't think they'll ever get back to that. If you're talking about like the 99 and things like that, I don't know that they're ever gonna get back to that. They were a force, that was a storm in a teacup. They were so massive that it's hard for any club to replicate that. City haven't been able to replicate that with the money.
Okay, what about title winning form though? What about a team that could win the league? I know what you mean.
I think they could well be next season. I like what Ten Hag's doing. I think he's managed to install an ethos back into the dressing room. That's why he got rid of Ronaldo. That's why he dropped Rashford for missing the team meeting, and then Rashford went on to score a goal in that game. I like that. I don't think there should be no special treatment for any players, regardless of status. No player is bigger than a club. So if you miss a team meeting, if you fuck around in training, you will be disciplined for it. And I like that he's the one running the show. He's letting the players know who's boss. And that doesn't have to be in an egotistical way. That's just in a way of, look, this is what I demand of you as players. And you will either do that or you will not be part of this football team. Which I think is the way management should be. That football has become so inflated, especially with wages and everything else. The players have far too much power in certain instances, but Ten Hag isn't going to allow that. And I think that's what Man United need, and that's what they've needed for a long time, because it's been a case of signing egos, and the egos have run the club. And the fans have also been in a state of expect too much, high expectation, far beyond what the club is actually capable of. But I think Ten Hag's grounding them in a reality that they're going to build on. And the club still has money, so come the summer, who knows what they're going to do? And I think he's going to sign players he knows what he's going to get from them. I think they could be challenging next season.
Jay, just finally with you, mate. What's your thoughts on United this season? Are you convinced that this is the start of the comeback, or do you think this is just a bit of a run of form that will end?
I mean, it's not exactly a run of form, is it? They beat Arsenal, they beat Liverpool, they just beat Man City, and they drew against Chelsea, and they're third. So a team that ain't at it is pretty close to it, to be honest. I know Munzie will be a little bit coy because you don't want to big yourself up a lot. I'm not saying they're going to win the title, but they could grab second because they're consistently doing it. So you're saying it's a run of luck of form. It's not, though, is it? Like, they've got you lot next, which is obviously going to be a good test for them. But
and we'll get to that. We'll get to that.
Yeah,
then.
But if you look at their team, they had the other day. Like, if I was a United fan, I'd be happy with that. I'd be happy with that. A few changes, but I think across that midfield, when they're all fit, Eriksen's doing his bits there. Bruno's bagging goals. Like you said, Rashford's scoring again. Like, I fucking hate Ten Hag. I just hate his little bald face. But he is doing it. I don't really agree with Luke on the egotistical side because I think he pushed. Whatever you think about the Ronaldo thing, I think that was Ten Hag just showing his cock, and he's got a big one apparently. So, yeah, like there is
I'm
things there
in different circles to you, Jay.
Yeah, it's a bit different. Yeah, he's from Basingstoke, Luke. Yeah, so that's what they do down there.
Not fucking from Basingstoke, you can't live here. But no, there's green shoots. Obviously, then it's never going to be how it was. That's how life changes. There's rich clubs all over the league now. Do you know what I mean? Newcastle, Man City are just filthy fucking rich. if Man United get bought by someone, then I think their fortunes will change. But we'll see, because my mate's a United fan and he's saying they've got no money. So, I mean, it didn't seem like that when they were spending money on Casemiro and getting excited, like, oh, we've got the best centre defensive midfielder in the world. Well, he was 30 years old and you spent 60 million, so no one cares. But yeah, I'm gonna big them up a little bit. I think they beat everyone they had to. Massive winning streak until they drew with Palace the other day, even though Phil's getting excited that he lost to Forest and Bournemouth. But yeah, it's cool.
Okay, so before we move on to, like I said, the sort of top 4 chase for me, just very quickly, all 4 of you, one word: who is winning the league? I'll start with you, Jay. Who is winning the league?
Yeah,
no bottle jobs.
Arsenal.
Jordan.
Arsenal.
City.
And I guessed this perfectly. Munzi.
City.
I'm not going to comment. But Laura says Arsenal, so thank you. Now he says, and Andrew says Newcastle. All right, mate. He is a Newcastle fan. They are thicker. They are a bit thicker than people from Leeds. I know. I didn't know that. But
Do you want me to change my mind, Graham?
no, Leeds are brilliant. I love Leeds.
Someone's got.
Listen, guys, this is a nice bottle. Talking of bottles, let's talk about Tottenham.
Oh, I thought you bought that for when you win the league, so it wouldn't be open for another fucking 20 years.
Up, mate. It's going to stay there, yeah. Luke, all jokes aside, mate, what is going on at Spurs at the moment? And is top 4 really realistically unlikely now, or do you think Newcastle might crack? What's your view on Tottenham right now and your top 4 hopes?
Without 3 quality signings that fit straight into that first team, there's no chance we're making top 4. The players aren't good enough. Lloris is well past his sell-by date. He's been having clangers for years. The defence is atrocious. We saw the errors. We've seen the errors all season. Son's not been performing, still not getting dropped. The only game he got dropped for, ironically, was the Leicester game where he got a hat-trick when he came on. Richarlison is back fit, so there's not much of an excuse for that. I think that would have been a good game for him to be involved in yesterday because he likes to get stuck in. It's not good. When you look at the players we've been linked with, that we're falling short €5 million that we're not willing to pay a release clause for to guarantee a player that Conte wants, that the board supposedly wants to back. It's a shambles. And you look at the displays on the pitch. Conte's not himself. He has had 3 sort of big losses recently. So I think there's a combination of things. Conte's not himself. Players are causing errors, leading to goals, and there seems to be no sign from the board that they're actually willing to make any improvement. So at the moment, it doesn't seem very good. I mean, if you're a supporter of a club lower down, you might be looking at it saying, well, you're still 5th. But that, with the table the way it is, I mean, that could easily slip. And for where we're supposed to be, especially with the stadium and everything that it's supposed to bring, it's a very unfortunate situation.
It's been brought up a lot recently, the brand of football. Does Conte need to just get his heels out of the sand and play a bit differently?
Yeah, I do. I think there's an element of that. Conte obviously likes to play out from the back. He likes to, play around the defenders, play to the goalkeeper, but Lloris's distribution is shit. More often than not, I would say 70% of the time when the ball goes to Lloris, he's giving it away or it's going out into touch. He's not suited to that style. He's never been suited to that. He was a very good sweeper keeper at a time, but even his shot stopping ability now seems to be lacking at certain times, which is the thing that sort of kept him there. But his distribution's never been something that it's never been his forte. It's never been something for him to fall back on. And I do think that's a wrong style. But the thing with Conte is he has his style. He's decided, because of his success at other clubs, which in fairness he's had, he's decided that's his proven system. So why would he defer from it? But the problem with that is you do need the players capable of carrying out that style of football, and we just don't have that at the moment.
Jay, I'm going to go to you. I'm just going to switch from Spurs for a sec, because I know you've been full of praise of this team. You've admitted that you were wrong about them. I know that could change in a year's time, but how impressed have you been with Newcastle, and in particular, a certain Mr. Kieran Trippier?
Yeah, I didn't even know he was that good. He's fucking amazing, isn't he? But yeah, their whole team is just performing. So it can be one of those next year. Maybe a couple of them drop that level. So they're going to sign people in the summer. But yeah, proper impressive them. But I think they made some very clever signings. Like Gimenez is definitely one of the best midfielders in the Prem. Amazing player. Botman's obviously a very good signing. Like Eddie Howe's just working wonders there, with a very high quality amount of players. Obviously, who knew Almiron would not be shit anymore? So yeah, probably you have to change your mind on people, don't you? If they prove you wrong, you can't always have a fixed opinion. People can get better, and I suppose that's what everyone would have said about Almiron, was his goals was missing from him. It's kind of like Adama Traore, he's got everything apart from goals and assists, and if he had them, then he'd be world class. So Almiron always had the ability and to be able to take people on. It's just he couldn't finish the ball to save his life, but he is doing it this year. So yeah, proper impressive Newcastle. They got a plan.
Chips off Jack Grealish.
Yeah. But yeah, they got a plan. They stick to it. They know what they're doing. Upset Arsenal. Do you know what I mean? They all know what they're doing. They're just very well drilled side, which you saw from Eddie at Bournemouth a bit, but he couldn't really do it at Burnley, and then he took some time out. So yeah, he's really improved himself as a manager. Again, someone else I changed my mind on. I never really rated him that highly. I thought he was kind of like a Potter or a lower team manager, where they can look really good with a small team, but when they get that step, it's a lot harder. But yeah.
Yeah, Jordan, I'm going to go back to Tottenham. I'm going to ask you, why is it going so wrong at the moment? Why is this team not in the position where they should have been? Why are they fifth and seemingly looking like they're going to finish fifth or sixth? What's gone wrong with Conte?
I agree with what Phil said in the comments. It's on Conte for the vast majority of the issues at the moment on the pitch. Yeah, Luke, I know what you're saying about the board and stuff. You do have a sympathy there to an extent. But at the same time, the manager's got to have things managed on the pitch. And the product that Spurs are pumping out at the moment just isn't good enough. The main problem for me is that this when he came to Chelsea and he's he played three at the back, and it was something we'd never really seen in the Premier League, or we'd not seen it executed well. And it caught teams out, and they ended up winning the league because of that change of system. It was hard to count. Managers in this country didn't really know how to deal with it. It was seemingly only in Italy that was being played at the time. The issue is that throughout the years in the Premier League, players and managers that have come out of the Serie A have struggled in the Premier League with the pacing and with everything else. And I'm just wondering if that might be playing a part. The fact that you've got this guy whose tactics aren't as unpredictable as they were at Chelsea, because people have had time to study them and work them out a lot more. We'll play, Premier League teams are playing Serie A teams regularly in the Champions League these days, so you're more likely to come face to face with it. I'm just wondering if maybe the tactics have gone stale. Without going on too much of a tangent, I think just to keep it simple, I would just say maybe the tactics aren't working.
I think I understand what you're saying with the system, that you know the style of football he wants to play. You know roughly how the game's gonna play out from a tactical point of view. I do think one thing with Conte's system is there is a reliance maybe upon a special player to do something that's unpredictable to change things up. So I think having good wing backs that are unpredictable, that can put a good ball in, having those wingers that can both go to the byline, cut inside to create those options. I think that's what I'm saying about not having the players. I think with the system, it's not a system such that any player can fit into it. Everyone needs to understand their role, but there's also an element of quality needed to create something special.
Can I just add to that? Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, Luke, but and I know this was Championship last year. Daryl Spence had a fantastic year, a young player. I'm not saying he's good enough for Tottenham, but he proved that he had a good run. He signs for Tottenham, he doesn't get a chance. Now, I know what you're saying, you need certain players at the position, but he's a player that played right wing back last year, the year before. He's played there. So why has he not been given that opportunity in that position to prove his point?
Well, this is a massive question amongst Spurs fans. Believe me, there's no one calling for Jed Spence more than Tottenham fans. I'm not aware of any Tottenham fans that haven't been calling for Spence to get a chance in there. Everyone wants to see him. He has got unbelievable pace. He's not afraid to take a man on, and he's actually, like you say, he's actually a wing back. He has delivery. He can finish. This is the thing, and it may well be that it's just stubbornness from Conte, because Conte's come out and said that it wasn't his signing. He is a club signing.
It's a stupid thing to do from him.
Yeah, so it may well be a case of Conte's stubbornness, that he doesn't want to pick him because he decided that he hasn't signed him, and therefore he's not worthy of playing. I don't know. I mean, we don't see what happens on the training pitch. He's stuck with Emerson Royale for the longest time, which has been frustrating. I know he ended up scoring yesterday, but it's been a frustrating situation, and believe me, I don't excuse Conte at all. I get frustrated with Conte. I think I don't think he makes changes early enough. It's a very similar criticism that I had with Pochettino. I think he has a plan A. I don't think he really has a plan B. I think if plan A doesn't work, he will just try and keep forcing plan A. I don't think there's any change up. Like I say, there's always the three at the back. Maybe occasionally he will change the wing back, but I don't think he makes changes, and I think that he's almost trying to signal to the board with the changes that he makes that he doesn't have the quality needed, and almost trying to force the issue of signing players. But at the end of the day, if you're not getting results, you're not going to be in a job by the end of it.
Yeah, exactly. Monday, we'll finish this bit about Newcastle again. Are they going to crack? Are they going to stay in the top four, or are Spurs going to nick them? Or do you think that Newcastle will get that top four place?
Oh, yeah, I think Newcastle will get that top four, because they just don't look like they're going to crack, do they? Eddie Howe's doing a brilliant job there. With Spurs, just like I know Luke's just said that Conte don't want to play Spence because he's not his signing, but surely when he was at Chelsea, most of them weren't his signings either. So I think it might be a bit more to that. But yeah, I don't know why he's not playing Spence. I don't know why he's playing Eric Dyer, to be fair, but if that's all he's got, that's all he's got. But yeah, there's so many problems.
Sanchez.
Yeah, exactly. So, but yeah, Lloris, as he said, he's tight. When he played against us first game, he was saving everything. Now we can't even catch a cold. Do you know what I mean? It's just like nothing's happening. But yeah, the way Newcastle are playing, even when they're playing poorly, like they didn't play that great at the weekend and grinded out a result, got the win. So yeah, I can see Newcastle finishing there. Spurs probably just need to sack Conte and then start again. But who are you going to get in?
That's a question for another day. We'll move on, but before we move on, just again another one answer response, guys. Will the top 4 stay the same, or will it change by the end of the season? I'll start with you, Luke. Will the top 4 change, or will it be what it is now? Not in order, just the 4 teams in it.
No, I can't see a way in for any other teams, including us. I do think it's pretty much going to stay. I just want to add as well about the whole Newcastle situation. I think that how and the board have been very clever in the way they've approached things. That they're finding stability before they press on. We know they've got money, but money can't buy you success overnight. It takes time, and I think that's what they're doing. They're building a platform. We know they've signed good players. They're performing well, and they're just trying to get their foot on the ladder so that they can push on in the next season or two. And I think it's very shrewd business, especially with the whole FFP thing. They know that FFP is going to be breathing down their neck because of the situation and the money. So they've got to be careful in the way that they manage their money. And I think they're putting themselves in a really good position.
Monday, I think you've already said it, but I think you expect the top 4 to stay the way it is.
Yeah, I think stay the same. Yeah, I think it will.
Can't hear.
Can't hear. Go on, say again. Can't hear.
Jordan, do you think the top 4 will stay the way it is?
I can't believe you boys honestly think we've only just got halfway to a season and nothing's going to change in the top 4 for the rest of the season. That's really surprising.
Why I asked the question.
Sorry, I meant Leeds are going to be up there.
Get the championship.
It's surprising to me that you honestly think we've only got halfway through a season and it's just going to stay the same. We see this every year. I think it could change multiple times for the rest of the season. I expect it to change. I think one of Man U or Newcastle will drop out. I'm going to have to be honest. I do have a feeling that Newcastle, they have started to show a few signs that maybe they're slowing down a bit. They've been struggling to score goals recently. I mean, there's been 2 games in a row, played Arsenal, played us, didn't score in either game. So that has been a concern. But, yeah, I would be surprised if this doesn't change whatsoever from now to the end of the season.
Jay, what about you, mate?
Yeah, I can't see it changing from the top 4 as it is. Newcastle lost 1 game. 1 game. You don't suddenly lose 6 games. Do you know what I mean? I can't see them just becoming shit. Isak's back as well now. So we talk about goal scorers. They got Isak and Wilson.
Well, they've got 2 strikers.
And they're getting rid of Chris Wood.
Much of a loss. Yeah, he's not that much of a loss.
Yeah, he's going on loan.
So for this one, I'm going to ask Munzi and obviously Jordan about Leeds, and I will talk to Luke and Jay about Brentford because we don't have all day. We'll be here forever. So I'm going to start with Jordan. Jordan, is Jesse under pressure now? I think you probably know the answer to that. And does a win for Brentford this weekend pile the pressure on even more?
Yes and yes. He's got to be under pressure. When you've only won 2 out of 18 games, you have to be under pressure. I do agree. Like, I know, obviously, we were taking the piss out of it in the FPL chat the other day. Sorry, lads, I've just got to say this right now. When we finish this podcast, I urge you to go and look at the West Brom Burnley game because Burnley have genuinely been robbed of 3 penalties, and this referee's a fucking joke. Anyway, back on track. He is under pressure. Like I said, he should be under pressure, but I don't want him to go. It's too early for me to say. And I know we were saying in the FPL chat the other day, it's kind of taking the piss. He's come out in the press and said, we're playing good football, and he's not bothered. He's saying all the wrong things. And someone needs to pull him to one side and be like, look, don't say that because it's not going to go down very well. But he has got a point. To a point, he's got a point. We are playing pretty well at the moment. We're not, but the fact is, all the mistakes we're making at the minute, the vast majority of them are individual errors. It's not the manager, like the Villa game the other night. It's not the manager's fault that 2 of the defenders didn't get back on the Villa counter. It's not the manager's fault that it's not the manager's fault that Meslier spoons it straight in front of him and it's a tap in for Villa. That's not down to the manager. That's down to your players. And it's happened so many times this season where it's been individual mistakes, and I think we have got a bit unlucky in that regard, or maybe Jesse Marsh has got a bit unlucky in that sense. The tactics for me, there's nothing wrong with him. He's got the squad that he's wanted. This is what he's wanted. He's got all the players in. He's got more players in this January. You can't do that and then get rid of him. It makes no sense.
The thing is, Jordan, though, and this is my honest opinion, Lee, this isn't me to mug you off or anything. I like your attacking talent. You got Big Willie, who, by the way, is a top player. Siniesta, Summerfield. You've got some great, and Rota, I know he's unproven, but you spent money. So you've got the attacking pieces. But do you want me to be honest? And you probably know what I'm going to say here. Your defence is fucking shit.
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
It's fucking
how many
shit.
times do I say that to you?
If Robin Koch is your best centre-back, you're in trouble.
I'd raise you. I'd say if Liam Cooper is our best centre-half, you've got issues. A guy that is synonymously known around Ellen Road as a League One Liam, that's when you know you've got an issue because he's a League One standard player.
Against Cardiff. I know it's Cardiff, but you're playing, and then you can see 2 goals. I'm like, just keep a fucking clean sheet at home.
I will say one thing: the penalty that they got was well outside the area, and I've got no idea how no one picked that up. But yeah, the defence is an issue, and if anyone has honestly seen Rasmus Christensen play football, it is the most. It could cause a brain aneurysm. It's painful to see your right back bomb so far out of position. When you've got it at the back and you're passing it around, and he bombs forward, and he's further forward on that right hand side than Aronson or whoever is playing on the right hand side of the pitch. He's further forward than him, and everyone in the crowd's just screaming, "What the fuck? What are you doing up here? You're leaving all that space down that side." If that is by design and that is what Jesse Marsh has asked him to do, then I would be having a word with the manager. But I cannot believe that is what he's asking him to do. When you look at the left back and he's way further down the side of the pitch, there's no way that he's asked his right back to do that and his left back to do something else. So I think this is just him being an idiot. He panics every time he's got the ball. And most of the goals we've conceded this season have been either because of his positioning or when he's got back, he's given the ball away. One thing I will say as well, Graham, we've got 2 players in our starting 11 that are top 6 rated in individual errors leading to goals in the Premier League. Number 2 behind Lloris, I'm sure it's no surprise to you, buddy.
Llorente.
Is Diego Llorente. And then a little bit further down is Rasmus Christensen. And then not far behind him is Robin Koch. So we've got 3 defenders that start regularly for us that are they're causing errors that lead directly to goals. That's a massive problem. We've just signed Max Verber, who I think is a really good signing for us because he can play in a multitude of different areas. He can play midfield. He can play anywhere along the back line. So if we need him to fill in the centre half, not being funny, I would pick him. We renewed Llorente. Absolutely. I mean, what the fuck is the ball doing? He's by far the worst defender. When we were in the Championship, we had Kyle Bartley. He was better than this sack of shit.
Yeah. Jordan, I will get back to you very briefly. I want to really quickly talk about Big Willie, but I will in a minute. I'm going to go to you, Mundy, because I know you love Leeds. Is the pressure on Jesse? And all jokes aside, do you think Leeds, regardless of what happens with Jesse, are they going to be all right this year?
Well, when you lose to a team that got put out of the FA Cup by League 2 Stevenage, and trust me, Aston Villa was shocking in that game. I was there. Then, yeah, you have got problems. But, yeah, the Ted Lasso of the Premier League, we all like to call him. Yeah, he's got his players in. I can't see him getting the sack after he's just brought Rutter. I think that's his name. But, yeah, as Jordan said, the defence, and he says it all the time, their defence is shocking. I think last season we were after their goalie. I thought, what the fuck? I'd rather have my 9-year-old son in goal than that prat. Do you know what I mean? He's crap. You think Lloris is crap? He's crap. Here we go. Jordan's going to...
No, anyway. No.
You can't. Stats show it. He's crap. But yeah, I don't think they'll go down. I think he'll keep him up. But yeah, they won't sack. They won't sack him. They can't sack him after just spending that money. They've got to, give him to the end of the season. If he keeps them up, then they might sack him. But yeah, he's definitely under pressure. But yeah, I think they should keep him. I love it. I do. I love him when they get beat every week. Ted Lasso, love him.
I'm going to go to Luke quickly. I'm going to switch gears now, Luke. Forget Leeds. Let's talk about Brentford. We obviously a lot of Brentford fans follow this channel. How impressed have you been with Brentford this year? Because obviously a lot of people were saying about the second season syndrome. How far can they take this team? How far can Thomas take this team, especially this year?
I think mid-table. I think with the way the season's gone, I don't know that Brentford have sort of overperformed. I think they're just finding stability. I think they're learning how to play the game a little bit more. They've employed a few more sort of professional tactics, if you like, when they play. They're a little bit less naive in the way that they approach games. So whereas last season they were a little bit more gung ho, not quite as much as Leeds were. But I think now they're finding more of a way to win games. There's a bit more gamesmanship going on. They're managing their pitch for the games that they have ahead, as they did on Boxing Day against us when we played in the fucking horse track.
They've been good. Jay, 2 questions. Obviously, how far can Brentford go? And if you do beat Leeds this weekend, will you find out where Jordan lives, go find him, while he's sleeping, and dick slap him?
He ain't 10 hard.
No, seriously, look, how impressive they've been with Brentford this year. And I know a lot of people talk about being an Ivan Toney team. And yes, Ivan's a fucking top player. But you proved in recent weeks that you're not just relying on him. How impressed have you been so far this year with the team?
Yeah, pretty impressed. We're doing all right. Not going to lie. I don't want to overplay it, but to be honest, we've just come off the back of our hardest run of games, beat Bournemouth, Leeds, and Southampton, and obviously, as we all look at each other down that end, you'd say those are games you look in to win, but obviously. That could be the difference for us, but there's not much you can say in it. We've beaten the only team we've lost to is Arsenal in the top 6 big boys, not where they are now. Obviously, we lost to Newcastle as well, but the teams with Newcastle do have real money as well now. But yeah, drew with Chelsea and Tottenham, beat the others. So you right ones.
Yeah, you beat Man United. Yeah.
But also
put Man City, the only team to Man City have only lost once at home this year, and that was against you. So
yeah. So yeah, not much to say. So like I say, we don't necessarily get the applaudits for playing very sexy football. We get the ball forward, we put it in the back of the net, which seems to happen most weeks now. To be honest, we score 2 goals most games. So, and
realistically, I know you're going to get the ump with me saying this. It's staying up still the goal. Just get to 40 and see where you go, or is that's humanity now?
Nah, that's always the target, isn't it? Like only Bournemouth have a smaller budget than us, so when you're looking at realist head, then staying up is the target. But when you're 8th, then your mind seems to wander a little bit, and you go, "How far can we go?" Do you know what I mean? A lot of fans chant, "We're going on a European tour." I can't see it yet, but. We'll see, man. Like I say, it's half a season. Like so much can change. We could go and lose 4 or 5 games in a row, and do you know what I mean? And a few other teams pick up point. Well, I can't see it. Do you know what I mean? Everton aren't going to win 4 games on the bounce. Southampton aren't going to win 4 games on the bounce, no matter how excited they get. I think this time of year can get a bit sticky because you've got FA Cup starting, you've got League Cup games. So, like where Leeds get a win against Cardiff. That can kind of overshadow the fact that I'm not digging on Leeds, but just for example, they haven't won in the Prem since November the 5th. Do you know what I mean? So if they don't beat us at the weekend, they've gone 2 months without a win in the Prem, which, do you know what I mean? You need to pick up those points as you're going along. I don't think Leeds will be in trouble. I think there's much shitter teams than them in the league this year. Wolves, Southampton. But yeah, so yeah, we're doing all right, mate.
And just very briefly, better about Ericsson, which is great to see.
I don't know. I don't know if I'd say better. like the form we had towards the end of last season has just carried on. So I think he but I think other players, when you see a top level player training, you kind of natural things that they do, movement, vision, and passing, you just kind of pick up. And I think little things like that have helped.
Jordan, you've got 30 seconds. You can bum up Big Willie. Go on, tell us about how good he is.
Fucking hell.
3.5 million. That is how you
Ted
sell
Lasso.
players. So just pay attention to this, Munzie, because it don't matter how much money you've got. When you've got,
I don't even know who fucking Big Willie is.
Hang on a minute. Let's not do that.
Who the fuck's Big Willie?
Now, you're only saying this if you're a football casual, because anyone who watches football has seen this.
No, I don't watch shit. I don't watch
you
shit.
shut the fuck up. Anyone who's watched football, this season, anyone who's paying any attention to all these games since he's burst onto the scene, this kid he's 19 years old. He's already made his debut for the Italy first team. He's 5'4", which sounds crazy. But the thing is, he's that small and he's that nimble that he doesn't even know what he's going to do with the ball. So how's the defender going to know what he's going to do with the ball? He can just go inside, outside, turns players. Every single time he's got the ball, I'm expecting something to happen. And we got this kid for 3.5 million. This is not like some blockbuster signing that we've made for 70, 80 million quid that you're expecting these kind of things from. This is a 3.5 million quid football.
Haven't you spent another 140 million on other players that haven't worked though? So
well,
getting lucky with one.
You can't win them all. You can't win them all.
He's also scored 1 goal and 1 assist.
Can he play in goal?
James,
Don't disrespect Big Willie. You do not he's a top player. He's a
40
million
top player. 40 million of that's on Rutter. 25 million of that's on Verba. They've hardly played yet, so that's unfair to judge our whole budget on 2 players that we've not even seen play in the league yet. Or we saw Verba for half a game.
I know.
There's more than that on those 2.
Anyway,
does he form the wall though?
Let's just move on, guys. We've still got a few things to get through. So just very briefly, you've got 25 seconds each. I want you to name your 3 teams that are going down. I'll start with you, Munzie. Who are the 3 going down?
Well, as he's pissed me off, I'm going to say Leeds. Who else? Who else are down? Southampton, because that manager's shocking. And Everton.
Jordan, who's going down?
What, me?
You, Jordan.
I think Southampton, Everton, just because that club is just in an absolute mess at the minute. And Bournemouth. I think that's your bottom 3.
Say Bournemouth has got to be a cert. Jay, bottom 3.
Southampton, Bournemouth, and I'm going to throw West Ham in because they got no luck, and I think it will be funny.
Luke, with you, mate. Finally, with you.
Yeah, I was going to go Southampton, Bournemouth, and Everton, unless they get Big Sam in.
Dave. All right.
I heard you're going West Ham, mate.
The main 4 games of the weekend. We're going to start with the El Shitico. Everyone know what game that is?
Everton, West Ham, yeah?
No, Liverpool vs Chelsea. That's what they're calling it.
Oh, Shitico.
I know it was Everton, West Ham.
Yeah, well, that's shit as well. I know we don't have any Liverpool where Chelsea fans here. But again, just quickly, it's a big game regardless where they are on the table. I'll start with you, Luke. What's your predictions for this game?
Yeah, I'll go 0-0.
Yeah, shit to go. Munzie, what's your prediction?
Yeah, I'll go 1-1.
You need to sort your fucking microphone out.
Yeah, he does, doesn't he? I thought it was me.
Jay,
you can't even see the ugly cunt. See fucking
2-1 Liverpool.
I'm busy. Jordan.
He's fucking sucking himself off.
Yeah, I'll go for
He's
it.
doing a 10 half.
Jordan, repeat that. Sorry.
I'll go for a 1-1 draw.
Who said I'm doing a 10 arc? All right. So we'll go to the big games now. We'll start with the shit one where the home team will win. I'll go to you last. fucking Fulham. There's a Fulham fan, me and Jay know, and he's giving it large. So I wouldn't actually mind a draw here. Jay, what's the score here, mate?
I don't know. They keep fucking winning, didn't they? I keep expecting Fulham to lose, and they just fucking keep winning. But no, I think Spurs will bounce back. I do. I know everyone's slagging them off, and Luke won't have no confidence, but I think Spurs will nick this. 1-0. 1-0.
Monday, what do you reckon on this game?
Don't know, because you don't know what Spurs turn up, then yeah, Spurs win it. But yeah, as you say, I think Spurs will probably nick this because after the last game against Newcastle, I don't think Fulham are on a down. I think Spurs win 1-0.
Luke, what do you reckon, mate?
Initially, I was thinking 1-1, but having thought about it, it could be much like the Palace game where we win like a 3-0 or something. So I'll be confident. I'll go for a 3-0 Spurs.
And Jordan, finally with you, mate. What do you reckon with Spurs, Fulham?
Yeah, just to rejoin the Spurs Leeds alliance, I'm going to go 2-1 Spurs.
Up the Whites.
Now we go to the derbies. Now we go to the big games. Leeds versus Brentford. I'll start with the neutrals. Luke, what do you reckon here, mate?
Fucking 6-0 Leeds.
Who's going to get to an argument?
I think this one could be a scoring draw. I think this could be like a 2-2 or something.
His mic's gone.
Monday.
I reckon it's going to be 2-1 Brentford.
Jay, I'll go to you first. What do you reckon here, mate?
Yeah, I think we'll be clever. I think we'll be compact and get a 2-1.
Jordan, fine with you, mate.
Well, I'm assuming Graham's asked for me because I can't hear him again. I'll see. I do. Head says draw, but it's not what we really want. I mean, would we take a point? Probably, considering where Brentford are, but I'm going to say 3-1 to the boys.
Okay, and finally to the big game of the weekend. I will give a prediction on this, but I'll do it last. I'll go to you again, Luke. What's the score going to be here, mate? Obviously, going to be not an Arsenal win.
No, I this one I think could be a draw as well. It sounds boring. I do think this would be like a 1 or something. Obviously, Man United had you. No, United had you earlier in the season at home. I know that was at Old Trafford.
And they got very lucky.
But
yeah, they did.
Yeah, but United are getting the decisions again now, as we saw with that offside goal. So
criminal.
Yeah, I'll go for a 1-1 draw.
Monday, what's the score going to be?
Well, we haven't beat you since 2017. So yeah,
What are you counting?
Not that I'm counting. I fucking hate Arsenal. Always counting. I don't know.
Run out of fingers.
I say 1-1. I'll take a draw, but knowing you're like, you'll get a wicked, lucky win, like you usually fucking do.
Jordan, what's the score going to be? Can you fucking hear me?
I can hear you now, mate. Yeah. 3-1 Arsenal.
Cool. That's a fucking shock, isn't it?
Good lad.
Well, no, but they will win this game. Like whether I hate Man United or not, they will win this game.
What do you reckon, mate?
I think Arsenal are going to be clever, so I think it'll be a draw because I know they don't. It's not a win. It's not a must-win for them, even though they're at home, and I know they'll go for it. I don't think they'll be that foolish, but yeah, I think they'll get a draw.
Yeah, I think we'll get 1-1. I'll take that. It's not the end of the world. As much as I hate to say it, United are a good side, but they're a side that I think if they get a few results against them, they'll start going to free fall. So, yeah. Before we go, lads, I appreciate you all coming on again. It's been a while. I want to get your guarantee of the weekend. So I want you to tell me something that you guarantee will happen in the Premier League fixtures. I'll go with you, Jordan. What do you guarantee to happen this weekend?
Liverpool-Chelsea to be an absolute slugfest from start to finish.
Monday, what's your guarantee of the weekend?
I guarantee Leeds will concede a goal and that stupid goalkeeper will still be shit.
Rent free over here we are.
Jay, what do you guarantee?
Rent free.
Newcastle to win away.
That's going to piss Phil off. Newcastle 3-point clean sheet. But anyway, Luke, what's your prediction?
Romero yellow cards.
Guarantee.
Romero yellow cards.
Fair enough. My prediction is I think Marcus Rashford will score for United, but I don't think they'll win. Thank you guys for coming on today. It's been a while since we've done a live with the World Cup and all that. Anyone who obviously not subscribed, please subscribe to the channel. And before I go, I know Luke and Jay are part of Daddy and the Don, so I'm just going to go to the other two. I'm going to start with you, Jordan. Just tell us where we can find you, any shows you do on YouTube.
Yeah, well, I believe from what I've heard tonight, Graham, you might be seeing me debut elsewhere. Might break rank. No, you can find me on the Sports Capital every Wednesday night doing the End of the Bench show for Munsey. That is my quote unquote boss, as you wish to call it.
But you do come on here quite a lot. You do come on my shows quite a lot. So
yeah, I do, mate. We like to share the love between you guys and obviously us. Obviously, me and you, Graham, we've started our new Tea to Green show as well, mate. So you can catch that before the majors, the golf majors, every single time they roll around. We'll do a full preview.
You can ask Luke, by the way.
Yeah, Luke, I need to talk to you about that after the show.
No worries.
Where else?
What do you mean, where else?
Anywhere else that we can find you?
Oh yeah, you can find me on Twitter as well. That's the only social media I use. So you can find me at Jordan_NBA.
You can also find him at his team stadium, unlike Munsey.
Yeah.
Oh. Where can we find Rafa Benitez?
You can find me on this sofa drinking.
You look like you're drinking red wine there, Luke.
Yeah, I am drinking red wine because I'm sophisticated, you can't.
Hang on a minute. Hold on a minute.
Hang on a minute, what?
Where the fuck am I? That is my Rhine rack. Oh, fuck my hands.
Rhine rack.
That's your
What's a Rhine rack?
all right, fucking Kim
rack.
Jong Il.
That
Are you hungry?
Rhine rack.
wine rack. I don't need to go to you. Where can we find you? Tell us about your channel, Checkers Capital.
Well, you're not going to fucking find me on here because all I'd get on here is stick. I'd just like to answer Luke's question. I have got 6 kids, so it's a bit hard to get to the ground, but yeah, sorry. Yeah, you can find me at the Sports Capital. As George has just said, I'm supposedly his boss. Not that he fucking listens. Yeah, doing Munsey Talks United and Munsey Talks Premier League, and then yeah, that's about it.
Wine rack.
Fucking Checkers. Fuck off.
No, thanks, guys. It's going to be a good weekend of football. Thank you to everyone in the comments. I know Phil's been busy. He must be off work today. He's obviously dogging in the car. Apart from that, guys, thanks very much. Jordan, you let Phil down today. Have you got anything to say about that?
Yeah, Jordan.
I did warn him a couple of days ago that Fridays weren't good days for me. And I did say it would be touch and go as well. So I did warn him, kind of.
No worries. And anyway, as Jordan said, Tea to Green show, myself and Jordan, potentially Luke, if he wants to come on, we'll be going through the golf majors. I'll be on that channel. Regarding our channel, me and Phil and the usual lot will be doing our predictions and previews. So for now, guys, enjoy the football and we will see you soon. Before we go, Phil says you didn't.
20 minutes? It was over an hour.
Anyway, good night,
He
guys.
does that a lot, Phil.
See you later.
He forgot to flash his headlights.